Okay, we're recording. I'll edit it out. Okay, welcome to Empower the Audience. I'm here with two mooks from New York.
I think I was whispering during that. You should probably start to do that introduction.
Okay, welcome to Empower the Audience. I'm here with two mooks from New York. I'm here with Will and Tim.
What's up?
How you doing?
I think I said it right. I don't know. I'm from California. What do I know?
I love that my voice went so deep. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing, yo. So anyways, yep, we're here to talk about. I have no idea what. I'm letting this one go free and loose, and I don't know.
Well, you did have one staple, or you had one condition when we came on.
Yeah, one condition is there got to be a SFW, I guess, instead of NSFW. And if they do curse on my podcast, they're gonna have to edit it out.
Yeah, so you can't curse.
All right, no problem.
I know, but see, that is the problem, because now that I know I can't curse,
You're
Yeah.
so
I think
tempted
it'll
to.
fit. Yeah,
I'm just not gonna say anything.
I don't think I have my phone,
I'm going home.
but I actually got a censor button. Like
You got a
the
sensor?
the
I
little
think
thing,
you
sound
better-
effects and
You
stuff.
better pay attention, because it comes out so naturally.
I know.
Hey, what the?
Exactly. I'm from New York. It's just another word.
Yeah, I got a joke we can talk to this. But anyway, so I've been trying to get Will on this podcast a lot, but he's a mover and a shaker at the place where we work, so he's hard to nail down.
Yeah, man. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, I'm done with everything, every single day.
That sounds more suicidal than mover and shaker.
Yeah. On Facebook, I actually said he's harder to he's trying to play tag with him is like trying to play tag with Barry Allen? Is that what he said?
Something
Flash?
like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
Some reference I didn't understand.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
should-
I was for
reference-
you. That was more for him.
Was that for me? I like that. The reference I was thinking as you're saying it was, I hope you're going to go, he's harder to catch than Kaiser Sosa.
You guys besides that. Too soon.
Too soon.
Spoilers. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna let Will talk about his deep devotion and love for Breaking Bad. We might chime in here and there, and you can probably even go.
Okay. Well, so Will's hard to get on here, but me, you just call me up and I'm just doing nothing.
Dude, you burst into a Facebook discussion and said, "Isn't it me too?"
Yeah,
me
that's
too.
true.
Me
That's
too.
true.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I totally remember.
I
that.
think I'm sure.
I just know that the girl that you got when we had the conversation never is going to tag you in a picture ever again.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah, that was my picture to begin with.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I don't know.
You guys were on my picture that I got tagged on, and then this how it all happened. And I said,
Wait, what
Will
picture
too.
was it?
The one of him and,
Picture.
Johanna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she put hashtag conceited. It was on her film,
Oh,
my web
yeah.
series film. And I was like,
Oh, is that what it was?
conceited.
Yeah, I was wondering why you guys were doing
Wow,
that.
shameless plug.
Anyways, so
No,
lots of
there.
stuff about people you don't even know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Will's going to talk about Breaking Bad, and we're going to be the peanut gallery.
So Breaking Bad, best show I think that's ever existed in the face of the earth. Corey, what do you have to say?
Yeah, he loves it that much.
Sad that it's over, but I'm stoked for Better Call Saul. Season 1 was fantastic. Although I'm going to have to watch it all over again before Season 2 comes on because they put 10 years between seasons. So
Did you do Breaking Bad all the way through
Yes.
to get prepared for Better Call Saul?
I did.
Impressive.
I actually caught up. I started watching Breaking Bad in the final season, and I caught up to it in real time to watch the season finale.
I actually
live.
did the same thing. But I actually caught up to the season itself.
Okay.
But I did the same thing. I was like, just plowing through it.
I don't have the patience to wait a week for the next episode. So
Why Netflix is amazing.
yeah.
I did the same thing. I caught up in the last season, or just before the last season was going to be on Netflix.
Well, the most amazing thing about the show, I hear in retrospect on interviews and stuff, is the show was not popular at first. It had to build an audience. Yeah, it really
Yeah.
did, and which is amazing. There's a lot of word of mouth.
I think that's till like season 3.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
which that give it up for AMC for holding on to a show because most
I know.
networks, in fact, even AMC has canceled shows after one season that didn't
Yeah.
perform that well. So that's awesome that they held on to it. So
Yeah, I know by the time. I mean, I remember hearing about it, but I've honestly never been too big of a TV guy. I've never been able to latch on any shows where I'm just like, all right, when's the next one? So I just remember sitting like in my room one night with Netflix, and I saw Breaking Bad's on. Everyone's talking about it. Let's try one episode. I'm sure I'll turn it off in 15 minutes. And then 6 hours later, I was 1.5 seasons in.
yeah, I think the biggest testimony that I have towards that show is I was getting caught up. It was in that stage of getting caught up. I was almost caught up, I think, at that point. I think it was in season 4. And my roommate was in the living room, and I said, I don't care what he's doing or what he wants. I'm going to watch the show. So I ended up watching like 5 episodes because I didn't have to work till that afternoon. And at the end of the 5th episode, he turns to me, and he's not a TV guy, and he turns to me and says, "You're not watching this show without me again." So that I think I had to explain it. I mean, we're at 4 seasons. There's only 5 seasons. I had to tell him, explain some stuff to him, but he was sold just that late in the game. So, and he's never gone back and watched the other ones because he's into lots of show like anime type stuff. So he's always getting caught up on that. So that's a good testimony to that.
It's funny because I think that like 5 seasons is like perfect for a show.
Especially fewer episodes a season is better too. Yeah.
Because you can really, especially if you map it out.
Yeah.
So if you like map it out, you can map out a 5-season arc.
Yeah.
And just do it like, hey, we're only doing this because then you almost like the Friends is that their failure was at how successful they are.
Yeah.
So those later episodes kind of got like watered down, and they should have stopped before.
Yeah, the studio.
Simpsons.
Yeah, the studio just will try to milk that as long as they can. That's why Seinfeld was great because he basically said, "We want to go out on top." And if you notice, I remember watching it as it was happening, and because I'm old, and it kind of dipped in the second to last season. The quality kind of dipped, but as soon as they said, "Okay, next season's our last," it went back up, and it was great.
Didn't Larry David leave the show?
Yeah, he left it. I don't remember exactly when. We're actually watching it through it right now with my wife.
Yeah.
Because she's seen bits and pieces, but she never watched it all the way through it. So, and what I noticed is the 3rd season is when it really kicks in.
Yeah.
Everything starts firing on all cylinders, and they realized that the more terrible people that they made the main characters, the better it got. I mean, the fact that Elaine had to break up with a guy who just got a stroke. She was dating an older guy. Just like the most horrible stuff. And that's why, spoiler alert, the show's been out forever. The way it ends, where everybody's in jail, that only fits what happens because they're horrible people.
Yeah, they're not
horrible,
nice people.
selfish people. And for them to end up, I heard somebody be upset that it didn't have this happy ending.
I've never seen the ending of Seinfeld.
Can I tell you? Can I spoil it?
Go for it.
Well, they're in this little town in like Vermont or New Hampshire or something like that.
I forgot why they're in the town.
And they're just for some reason. And then they see this guy who's heavyweight guy
He's
getting.
famous comedian. I thought it was. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, he is. Yeah, I can't remember his
away,
name, but
right?
anyways, he's getting arrested. Yeah, he's getting arrested. This is before Ralphie, so it's not Ralphie, whatever his name is. But no, he's getting arrested, and they think it's funny, so they're just across the street laughing. But this little town has a no cruelty law. Like you can't publicly shame because it's such a little town, which that works. That kind of fits, I think. And so they end up being in jail. But the thing is, they have this court case, and I'm talking every character that's been on any show that's ever had a problem with them comes to testify against them.
Yeah.
The suit Nazi, everybody,
Really?
everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They just called
There's
everybody
also a
back.
clip show.
I gotta see this.
And only that show could pull that off,
Yeah.
It's on Hulu right now, so you could catch it.
I was
Unfortunately,
just
it's
watching
not.
on TV the other day. Like,
Well, they've been doing like
this show's
CBS has been
timeless.
doing like a whole.
every day,
run,
5 days a week or something like
Yeah. So, but that's the thing about those. The first episodes and the ending episodes, they never show on reruns, so you kind of have to go to like a place like Hulu or
that. Yeah.
watch it. But yeah, I thought it was a perfect ending to that. Yeah, it was funny because when we watched it this time, the pilot wasn't on because the original pilot had like different actor for Kramer and. I heard. I think if you get the DVDs, you
I thought it was still him. But Kramer was a recluse.
Maybe it was in the rehearsals of process. Maybe they got him before that. But I know that George, they showed, because I watched some retrospective, and George was doing more of a Woody Allen, like to start off with. He hadn't really found the character. But I don't know. So there's a real Kramer that they base that on, and Larry David is George.
Yeah.
It's him. He's basically playing.
Yeah.
Because I just heard Carol Leifer, who is a comedian, and she was the original Elaine, basically, who Elaine was the prototype based on. And she said, basically, she was a writer on the show, and she said, if it didn't happen to anybody in real life, they didn't want to write it into the show.
Yeah.
So that way it kept it grounded and
Right.
Yeah. Didn't get too fantastic.
so that's why they did a lot of the George stuff became Larry's stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite Larry Davis story, and I'm not even the hugest fan of him. I haven't watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I've been hearing a lot of comedians interviews. My favorite story about him: he gets up on stage somewhere, probably in LA, and he looks at the crowd, all like gives them the once over. Says, "I don't think so," and then walks off stage. Like he knew that the crowd wouldn't like his humor just by looking at them, and he's like, "No."
That's hilarious.
I want to do that at some point in my life.
Like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, like go into a room full of people that pay to see me. Because I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Okay, so is there anything else that you want to talk about? I mean, I'm trying to think of my favorite characters. In my review on the site, I actually said, I'm blanking on his name, Aaron
Paul.
Yeah, Aaron Paul. He looks like they literally drove up
I know.
on a corner and found this guy slinging.
I know.
I mean, that's what he seems like. He's such a...
Well, same with Skinny Pete.
Oh my gosh, that guy's hysterical.
Yeah.
He's been on, like, I've seen him on Talking Dead and stuff like that, and other stuff. I've heard him interviewed too.
Who's the other friend? There's Skinny Pete.
Oh, not Skinny Pete, the other guy. The other guy's that one.
yeah, he's done a lot. I think he was on an episode of even Drunk History.
Yeah, he was. I'm talking about the tall guy. I can't remember the tall guy's name. But anyways, yeah, he's the one that's a comedian. Skinny Pete is a real guy from that area or something. And he's the guy that they actually found.
Really?
Yeah, from what I understand. He wasn't a straight up actor or anything, but
Just sort of deep.
God, it's driving me crazy right now.
you get your phone out. Do you have a phone?
Yeah.
That's what I have. I've listened to so many podcasts when they just say the wrong stuff and nobody looks it up. I'm like, that's what I always wanted to have it on the show.
That's why when me and Sam were doing our YouTube thing, Kevin's like, "You guys did this, and this," and he would just say it. He's like, "This is what you guys are looking for." We're like, oh, okay.
It was funny because I had one of those on one of my shows. My brother-in-law said something
Badger.
Badger. I knew
Badger,
it was
that's it. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. We're talking about the Spider-Man animated stuff, and I was talking about the really old 60s one where the song came from, whatever, and my brother-in-law was saying a different one, and saying, no, this other one was the first one, and I was like, no. So my roommate just gets on and finds it right there and stuff, so.
Hey, you got that fact check.
Yeah, might as well.
Dude,
So.
PTI does it? You watch the ESPN, they got PTI, the guy comes in at the end, tells what they got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I don't watch ESPN.
It's okay.
Now remember, you're not allowed to turn this into sports stuff. That was the other stipulation.
Yeah.
Because I'm here, like, if I hear Eagles and Giants talking, I'm going to pull the plug and you guys are going to be on. So.
I would say my Giants secondary has every injury, and the guy pulled off his finger during 4th of July. So.
Yeah. Good
So,
job.
yeah, so back to...
So go Eagles.
Yeah. So
Eagles.
Badger and Skinny Pete. Like, Skinny Pete is the non-actor, and Badger's the... Yeah, I don't know if I think he does, like, improv or something like that. The guy that acted.
What are you going to say? I think he does...
meth?
Drugs?
Blue meth. But no, yeah, he's really good. He's really funny. My favorite probably... I'd have to say my favorite character is probably the guy Mike. Which I talked a lot about because he was a great, he was a great character actor from TV, like in the '80s.
He was in the Do
you remember Wise Guy?
Movie, yeah.
Wise Guy was a great show.
He did a lot of movies where he was either the henchman and the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the guy in like Beverly Hills Cop?
I think he was in Beverly Hills Cop. He was one of the henchmen. Yeah.
And you kind of just watch his hairline slowly fade more and more.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's Mike.
But he's
Mike.
just so.
And then he was on Community.
I just love how they pulled him in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, when they got rid of
Chevy
Chase, they pulled him in as the new old guy, basically. But he's so good. And he's like he's so quiet in this. It's just like you can see him just like tolerating and barely tolerating these like knuckleheads or something he has to deal with. But
and it's all Walter White's problem. Dude, man, he had so many chances to make tons of money or get out or whatever, but he just wanted that drug empire.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is
it's a problem, man.
Well, the thing to me that's interesting is it's kind of a destiny thing. Like, how do you know that this guy, this disgruntled former chemist, now chemistry teacher, gets cancer, starts to become a drug dealer, and then finds his destiny? It's almost like his destiny to be a drug dealer. I mean, that's the way
I think
it felt like.
Yeah, it's his destiny, but he just so wanted it more than I think it was supposed to be his.
Yeah, it's pride. It's all pride.
Yeah, he was so proud. to do all that stuff.
I love that.
Like,
Yeah.
man, you could have done something better, and you totally did. Like Pinkman even said it. You ruined his life. You ruined all these guys' lives.
Yeah.
You ruined everybody's life.
Yeah.
Even though they're all drug
like,
dealers and bad people.
I totally sympathize with them through the whole show, though.
Yeah, they do. They make you.
I
The audience
sympathize
is
with them.
split. It's like
rough.
half of them are like, "What are you doing to your family? You're a scumbag," and I'm sitting here like, "Jesse, hurry up, get that stuff together."
I was on board.
Where's the methanol, man?
I was on board with Walter only until he poisoned the kid, and then I started going,
Yeah.
"Oh, right.
yeah.
Now you're
But
messing
that's the
with
thing
Jesse's
is they
kid,
kind of
and-
try to basically almost like a yo-yo him. Like they
Yeah.
push him
Yeah.
to the brink and then they bring him back and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And that's when I realized he would do anything
Yeah,
he could do.
but I mean, some
To-
people
to
shoot
get
on
more.
tests, some people poison kids.
semantics, right?
I don't know if that's exactly.
I actually just watched the first episode again with my wife to see if she liked it. She was sick, so she didn't really like her. We'll see if it happens. But
Like the pilot episode.
yeah, the pilot episode, and yeah, I just love the thing I loved about the show is most people, if they just read it as being a drug show or whatever, or a crime
Yeah.
show, and they're not into that, like they wouldn't
They're
watch
not
that kind of
into
movie,
it.
they might. The thing about it is it's like it's the least likely drug show. It's a guy that you never expect to end
That's
up being a
true.
drug kingpin,
Yeah.
and it's not your typical thing. And that's the whole thing is everybody underestimates him, and he
Yeah.
always pushes up. And like, I mean,
Well, it's funny
time and
because
time
there's
again.
times where he gets super scared and he's like, please don't do anything, and then like two episodes later, he's
I'm
like,
the danger.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
the one who knocks. And you're like, oh god.
Yeah, that first episode, when he's in his underwear and like he thinks the
Yeah.
cops are coming, and it's just great stuff. It's just like
Yeah.
this is not Scarface, not at
No.
all. It's just not somebody that's that confident. But until they get into it, and then he finds his confidence. The one scene that my wife really locked into was the scene where this punk was making fun of his son that has CP, and then he just like literally kicks him right in the calf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make him limp himself.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I love the Pinkman stuff with after he shot the other chemist and how he just killed him pretty much because Walter made him,
Yeah.
and like there was the reasons to kill him, but it wasn't like Soprano style. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like he was tore up for
Yeah.
the rest of the series.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
He was
because
so tore
these
up.
aren't these aren't the
Because
professionals.
And that's not what he got into. Like, yeah, he'll make it, he'll sell it, but he's not a killer.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just I don't know. That whole ever since that, I was like, and just seeing every episode still being torn up, I just
Yeah.
thought that was great. And
Yeah.
it's just like the next episode, he wasn't over it.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Later, no, he still hated Walter for making him do that.
Yeah.
And then his girl got killed, and he just was like, my life is terrible right now. And then he gets
Yeah.
kidnapped and
Well,
chained.
Walter
like,
killed his girl.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That was
Sat there and watched her
crazy.
die.
Oh, the first girl.
That
I was
was-
thinking
She's
the second
gonna
one.
be. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, he let her die. He didn't kill her.
Well, yeah, that's
But
true.
he
just let her
Batman
die.
didn't save her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna be Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
And then you-
she's from the B and 13.
Yeah,
whatever they're-
23,
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever. That's gonna be
so,
interesting.
so yeah, I'm interested in that. But I'm trying to think of other things I love about the show. It's just like he tweaked it. Vince Gilligan is just like he took the typical like drug show and just tweaked it so much that it made it more human in a lot of ways. I think they did that with Sopranos to a certain point where he has the the therapist and stuff. But this was even more. It was like
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I like about it, and I feel like why people, like so many people that like are, sympathetic towards Walter, is just the fact that he is a regular guy who's never really found anything that he's the best at. Like throughout his life, he's always been kind of like on the back burner, like in the gray matter company with his partner in college, and then he grows up and he's just the chemistry teacher in high school while his old partner is this multimillionaire living in a mansion, living a steady life while he's just trying to make ends meet. And meanwhile, he's got cancer and all this stuff. But he finally finds this thing, and although it's making meth and obviously doing all this crazy stuff, like there's no doubt about it, he's the best at what he does. And I think that was the first time he's probably felt that his entire life. So I think that's why a lot of people like identify with him, because most people of all different ages still haven't quite found that niche in life. And like, even though his was selling drugs and making drugs, like he found that, and you know, I want to find that too in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
who doesn't? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought.
That's deep.
Yeah. Well, the thing I wrote in my review, my post, I basically said that it's kind of a lot of it's about manhood, because he's got that brother-in-law that's just like solid, like, you know, a testosterone fueled guy, and then he's always kind of cowering in the corner.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing I added too is a lot of people don't know, I don't know, but bald men have an excess of testosterone, not a deficiency. So if you notice, the baldness thing is a big thing in that, because his brother-in-law is bald and he's like tough, and then there's you know, Walter that ultimately goes bald the more he gets in, and then Mike is bald. So the really, you know, manly men in this show are the bald guys, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't think it was intentional, because I think somebody asked Vince Gilligan about it. But it's interesting that they did that. Yeah, for sure. So I actually just recently watched the X-Files, where the episode that had Bryan Cranston in it and Vince Gilligan directed it. The first time they ever worked together.
Oh, that's
it was a really cool episode. It was basically like this. It was like, not really a car chase, but like Mulder was driving him, and he had a gun to him, so it was kind of like a hostage kind of situation with Mulder, because he had something wrong with him that was potentially alien-based or something.
And Bryan Cranston was also in Seinfeld.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's right.
So, boom.
Who
Yeah.
else
Across
from
the
Breaking
board.
Bad was in Seinfeld? I know there was one more. I did not think of who it was.
I just remember seeing the guy from the
Look
Pirates.
it up.
Look it
Look
up.
it up.
I remember the guy from the Pirates of the Caribbean being in an episode of Seinfeld.
Who, Johnny Depp?
No, you know the two fumbling pirates, the one with the glass eye.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the other guy.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking
Yeah, that
about.
was like,
Yep.
Yeah,
that guy, yeah.
He was in Seinfeld. And he,
The guy with the eye, the
Mhm.
wooden eye, he was in the British Office.
oh, yeah,
he was
in
the
Dwight.
Dwight character, yeah.
The second grade office.
You mean the British, the original?
Yeah.
I wish Sam was here, because he's about to tear your head off.
I'm not a fan of that.
I'm
Fan
actually
of
with you.
British
It's too cringy.
That's why.
It's too awkward for me. It pushes the limits too much. It's like,
What about that episode, though, Scott's Tots, when he promises that he's going to pay for all these kids
oh
tuition,
yeah.
and then 10 years or however long fast forward,
Is that in
He
the
doesn't
British
have
one,
the
or is
money.
that in
the U.S. version.
Then there was the one episode of the American one where he meets the British character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick meeting at the elevator.
Yeah, I like that guy.
That was funny.
You know, Fast and Furious.
Fast and the Furious is
Oh,
a
yeah.
fantastic film
Fantastic
franchise.
franchise.
Wow.
Are you waiting for me to do it? Read it
I was
out?
waiting.
Dude,
I was
wanna
going to
put it
throw
in
that
there.
out there at some point.
That is a long-running inside joke.
It's actually it has showed up on my show before. One of my roommates watches it. So I've never seen one.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever
yeah.
seen it one frame of film.
Who you get to find it?
Yeah, Saul Goodman was in. Not Saul
Oh
Goodman,
yeah, the
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah. He's a big comedian. He did Mr.
Yeah.
Show, and
Yeah.
he was in How I Met Your Mother too. He played the boss. So.
Man, How I
Jason
Met Your
Segel.
Mother. That's another series that like didn't do well in the beginning, I think, and then caught speed towards the end,
Yeah.
and then
everyone hated the ending.
Man, yeah, like
Yeah,
I
you
don't
guys.
know.
Well, we didn't mind the ending as much as a lot of other people did, but
Well,
I didn't
they-
watch the show.
The reason why a lot of us did not like the ending, which I'm going to speak boldly, I guess, for
it's
like,
spoiled right now. If you don't want to know,
Dude,
that
they all-
it ended like 3 years ago. So
Well, how long ago was Breaking Bad? That
Yeah,
was
exactly.
also a while ago.
Yeah.
We're like, and Will's like, it just ended. I'm like, that was over a while ago. Dude. No, How I Met Your Mother ended with them taking pretty much the whole season, that whole final
Oh
season.
yeah, at the wedding.
was
That's
at
one of the
wedding.
biggest
The whole
complaints
point was
ever.
at the wedding. Let's do this wedding. Every little thing to get the wedding. Oh, yeah, this is the wedding. And then, like, in 2 pieces of dialogue, they're like, oh, yeah, let's get divorced. You're like, so what is the... So why did we just walk through this whole wedding for a season? I don't get it. Like, it was such a waste of time for you two just to be like, I guess we don't like you anymore. Well, okay, don't get divorced. And I'm still going to be Barney, and I'm still going to go and bang hoes. And then, can I say that? Is that allowed?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, sorry. And then, and then what? Just to have, like, the mom who you do fall in love with, and she's adorable and cute, And then they just go, oh yeah, by the way, she's dead and has cancer. And then there's a whole big thing just so that, what's his face, Ted can go be back with Robin in the stupidest way, the same exact way. No. Dumb.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's your opinion. It's fine. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
right.
just remember watching it and not hearing anything about it. And then when I went to work, everybody was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I'm like, okay, I guess. I don't know.
What did you think? You tell me.
I didn't have a problem with it. I can tell you the one thing I did like about Barney is that he had a daughter. Because I
Yeah.
kind of always wish, like, if they're, like, total, like, players that to have a kid daughter. So it's almost like karma for them
Yeah.
to have a daughter because it's like,
Well, and then for me specifically,
specifically.
that word. The reason why I didn't like it only because is how they changed Ted's character when he met the mother. Because like the whole time he's trying to find love and he wants to do love the right way, and every time he wants to be magical and this and that. But I feel like at the end
We're talking about Ted Mosby, not you.
I'm Tim. I'm not Tim. Shut up. All right. Oh, we all want to find love the right way. Will. Anyway, he like they already had kids before they got married, and like I'm sorry, Ted would never do that. He would totally be married first, so he can have that family built. Like,
I think that's fair.
you know, like that's totally
Because he's the
his
romantic
character.
one, yeah.
Yeah, he's such a romantic about it, and for them not to do that, and then they even talk about like Ted, you ever gonna get married to your wife? And he makes a joke, oh maybe one day, you know, or married to the mom of your children.
Yeah,
Oh maybe
yeah.
one day. You're like, no, he would have done that.
Yeah, he
even
would
if
have.
he
Yeah.
would have brought it. There would have been a whole episode where she's pregnant, about to give birth. And maybe they weren't quite ready, but he'd say, "Now we are ready," and like
Give the
have a
priest in
come
the delivery room, yeah.
have all this nonsense going on during the kids getting born, and like Barney be like, "Oh yeah, I'm an ordained minister," you know, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
and
online.
do the, you know, all that stuff. Like that's what would have happened. That's my specific. version of why
I can buy into that. I can buy into the fact that
just
he
because
is.
it changes.
I actually forgot some of that, so
Yeah.
it's been a while. But one thing I thought about this show is like, the show itself, all the way through, was a feat. I would love to see the writers' room because
Yeah.
if you think about all the different time periods they show,
Yeah,
and
with
how
the-
you
the
keep track of
umbrella
that
and all that
continuity,
stuff,
and
yeah.
that's got to be insane because
Yeah.
it's just.
Well, Quentin Tarantino to help out.
Yeah,
for
seriously,
real.
for Pulp Fiction.
This is really crazy because like when you do, I feel like when you do map out these seasons, you're like, no, for real, we need like, we'll just say 5. Like we need 5 seasons. Why? Because this thing in season 1 is gonna play not till later. So if we don't get continued, you know, like so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because every time they're like, oh yeah, we got another season, yay!
Well,
It's
the-
like,
and-
well, you should hopefully have it already.
That show was probably like, I don't know much longer the old TV model of 20 plus episodes per season ago.
Yeah.
That show did like 20, 24, 25 sometimes
Really?
episodes a season. It had a lot, and so
Yeah, Jason Segel, I think, was like done. He was like,
yeah, and so I think I you know, that's why I just don't respect a lot of the ways the networks work, because they just push
Yeah.
the quality out of the shows by just like
Like I can't watch any shows on like CBS or Fox or whatever. Like all those shows, like Zoo, that show that just came out. I started watching that and I'm like, oh, this will be cool. Like, you know, this switch flips in all these animals' brains, and all of a sudden, like, we're screwed. Like, they're finally figuring out that they're at the bottom of the food chain. Now, you know, people have to fight for their lives. That sounds like it could be a great show. Oh yeah, it's on CBS. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like,
CBS used to have a lot of good shows on it back in the day, but
yeah.
But yeah, now we're in the his name's Chuck Lorre. He's the guy that did 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory,
I hate
that
Big
mom
He's in
that mom
everything.
show.
I love 2.5 Men when Charlie Sheen was on it.
So did I.
I never really watched that show ever.
I
I
don't-
met John Cryer once, but
Like Jack Ryan.
Who's that again?
The
He-
brother.
He was,
Oh,
he was big in
okay.
the 80s.
yeah.
Was he
that's-
really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in a
Like,
couple of, like teen movies and stuff.
what's it-
Pretty in
who's
Pink
the
was the
director?
big one. John Hughes.
John Hughes. He was in a lot
Yeah,
of
Pretty
John
in
Hughes.
Pink, and then he had some other shows, some other movies. I actually met him like at Comic Con. He was just walking around.
That's
You know who
so-
I met from the 80s?
Huh?
You remember that movie, Just One of the Guys?
Yeah.
You remember the friend who she falls in love with,
Uh-huh.
who thinks she's the dude? I met that guy at the Orlando Film Fest like
That's
3
awesome.
years back when me and Aaron we were doing our
Right.
thing. Yeah, he was in a movie,
That's
and he
cool.
happened to be there. I was like, I just want to say, I remember you from just one of the guys, and it's awesome. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that I was born after that movie. So he was like, oh, thanks, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, cool. He was a cool dude. And I was like, I'm going to leave that part out.
Yeah. That's why, like, I feel like if I ever met any of the guys from Metallica, or if I won some kind of meet and greet for some popular 80s band that I was a big fan of, I think I would just smoke packs upon packs of cigarettes and, like, roll my hair down to my butt.
The grizzly boy.
Yeah. So, hey, what's up?
Don't they all
I
have
remember
their...
picking up my copy of the Black Album in '91.
Don't they all have their, like, short hair now?
Yeah, they do.
They would probably be like, you should stop smoking.
I
That sounds
know.
terrible.
Because they all have kids and families
No,
now.
what you want to do is go up and say, hey, Lars, I downloaded your entire catalog
Yeah.
on Napster.
That'd be awesome. You'd totally punch you in the face. And that's
He's
the story.
cool with it now. That's the thing.
Is he cool with it now?
He's so cool that he posted like a video on YouTube, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, like, I think it's great that people share their music like this, and you know, it's a new time, it's a new era, Metallica, yeah, like,
Oh,
he's like
man.
all about it now."
When the guy, I love it when the guy from Napster, like, went on, like, the MTV Awards with Metallica.
Yeah. No.
That was awesome.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know about that.
Is Napster still around?
No.
it's not.
It got bought, and it was like a legit service for a while, kind
Yeah, I
of
remember
like
being,
Rhapsody or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But if it is around, it's like nobody's on it. Like,
I remember like the moment they went after Napster, like you can't do this, and then like 20 other little LimeWire showed up.
Yeah,
Cox,
because,
and
yeah.
Morpheus, everything else is like, well, Napster can't do it, but we can
Yeah.
do it. I was
And
like,
that's
okay,
the-
what
that's-
can do with service?
Yeah.
You know, Chuck D from Public Enemy, he said you can't stop the internet. That was like
Oh.
when he was interviewed, like with that.
Well, that
and
was-
he actually testified. He and Color, like this one of the '60s musician from the Byrds, and some other people testified before Congress and said, "This is the new radio. This is
Yeah.
how people are
Yeah.
discovering music." Because when you
Anything.
make
It's not
CDs,
all my news.
CDs at one point were $19.99.
Yeah.
They literally said, "Oh, you're going to steal our music? We're going to charge you $20 for a CD." I'm like, "That's the wrong attitude to that." It's like,
You gotta, you kind of gotta embrace it.
I would have,
even willingly.
if I were the head of Sony, and I like to pick on Sony because other than the PlayStation, I really despise the company. They should have, when Napster went down, they should have not down. I mean, when it came out, they should have hired that guy Sean Fanning or Sean whatever his name is, and said, "Hey, we don't like what you're doing, but we like the technology. Can you do that for us?" And I saw this documentary. There's a documentary on Netflix called Downloaded, and it's all about Napster. And they're basically a tech startup, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they started this thing. They assumed at some point that they were going to get bought by somebody. That's what they said. We assumed, like, that's the way tech stuff works.
Yeah.
You start a small company, people like it, some big
And then you
company
sell
buys
and
it.
you're
Yeah.
a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what they thought was going to happen. And obviously it backfired in a sense. But,
And then they had to pay a lot of people money.
yeah.
Really quick, I just had this hilarious thought. What if we weren't even recording this entire time?
You scared me because I actually thought that a little bit ago. I did
don't see
think
where the
that.
wires are plugged in.
I
Then we
saw
would
the
have to
screen.
remember exactly what we said.
Yeah, I saw the screen through your shadow box there, and I'm like, I don't see a lot of activity going on.
Corey just lost it mentally.
No, I looked earlier and it
These
was
are
like,
fake microphones.
Plugged into like a box that's cut out. Looks like a TV.
yeah, hey guys, check my podcast. I'm in a cardboard box in an alley.
Well, we're here doing it, so.
But no, yeah, you were a little quiet earlier, so I was like, we're going number the thing's moving. We're good. We're all
I
good.
gotta talk to HR.
We're all fine here.